Hello YouTube, I'm just doing another Bible review, this time the NASB 2020 Stridon. And before I start, I have to give my daughter a little cameo. There you go. Alright, so I'm not an NASB person necessarily. I read the King James and the New King James because of the New Testament Greek text that underlines those, but when I saw the typesetting of this Bible, I just had to get it because it's like my dream typesetting. I just looked at it and I said, I've literally dreamed this, like dreamed it up in my mind, and they actually published it. So, as far as the outside, this leather, this mahogany, at least this copy that I got, is a lot more grainy. This is my Quintel, New King James Quintel. So a lot more grainy, and the raised hubs are a lot more pronounced, and I really like them pronounced like that. But basically the same. They're very similar in size, the Quintel and the NASB Stridon. This one is a little bit thinner. This is just a little bit thicker. But it's the typesetting that made me buy this Bible. And here it is, and here's what I love. Number one, the headings are highlighted in red. And of course, as usual, Schuyler's, the chapters are in red. And all the verse numbers are in red, and it's single column. This, to me, is like the ultimate preaching Bible. Sorry about my dirty fingernail there. I've been playing pool with my kids. The outer margins are just about an inch. And here's my thing to it that I love about the outer margins. Plenty of us Bible, connoisseurs, like to make notes in our Bibles, even if they're 28 GSM. I've always thought, well, why not just add a larger margin for us? So even though this isn't technically a wide margin, it kind of, if you're the type to make brief notes, just cross-references or brief notes, this is perfect. I mean, just perfect. So reference suite at the bottom, and on the outer margin, it's got the text notes. So outer margin, text notes, inner margin, your references. It's a 10-point font, and if I'm not mistaken, it is, at least on my copy, bolder. See, there's the print on the 11-point Milo, and here's the print. I think this is a Milo as well, but the print on this Bible is darker, and I will say it's it's super consistent printing. And here's the other thing I like. This is just my personal preference. I actually am not a red letter kind of person. I like black letter, and this is black letter. And I really love that about the Stridon. So let me show you a couple things that the NASB does. Oh, perfect. So when it quotes the Old Testament, it puts them all caps. I personally like that. It's a nice way of making it clear that it's a quote. And I haven't preached out of this yet. I just moved to Texas and just started at a new church. Work relocated me. And I'm sure at some point maybe God will bring that to pass, that I'll be back in a pulpit. But who knows? The Lord knows. Anyway, my only concern when I bought this was, well, is it going to be too many words per line? And because sometimes when it's too many words per line, I start to lose my place easier. But it has not done that. I've been perfectly fine with this many words per line. This paper is that French milled paper. It's silky smooth. And as you'll see, as usual, they leave enough margin here in the inner margins so that the text doesn't get lost in the gutter. Again, I can't tell you how much I love the fact they gave me an inch margin, because here's one thing I don't like about wide margins in general. It's a little more difficult to write in the gutter than it is on the outside. So I've always said to myself, why not just make a single column verse by verse and have your margins on the outside? And I know there's journaling Bibles that have done that, but the print was too small. Well, this 10-point bolder print is perfect for me. Now, the fact that it's an NASB 2020, I don't want to get into the version so much. It's not going to be my main Bible. I'm a King James, New King James guy, but I literally bought this for the typesetting. However, I'm not a King James only guy, so I have been enjoying, especially the Psalms. I actually really like the Psalms in the NASB. And so I've been, excuse me, reading it a lot, enjoying it quite a bit. Yeah, it's a real blessing. Don't think you can go wrong with the Stridon. I just hope they make it in the New King James at some point. But I cannot more highly recommend this Bible. The typesetting, I have almost with any typesetting, there's always going to be something that you don't like. So, I try not to be overly picky, but I cannot honestly find one thing I do not like about this typesetting. This typesetting is just awesome. It's really hard to put this Bible down. I just want to keep reading it and reading it. So, anyway, those are my just quick thoughts on it. If you want to see a really nice professional review, check out Tim Wildsmith's review on the NASB 2020 Stridon. It's great. Again, if you love verse by verse, and honestly, even if your main version isn't the NASB, I would still encourage you to buy one. Just for the typesetting and the experience. And, to be honest with you, I like to read other versions to get their take on how they interpret certain passages, or not interpret, but rather render certain passages. The NASB is more of a literal translation, is my understanding. I know there's some controversy around the 2020, but I haven't found it. I don't necessarily prefer how they translate certain things. For example, when it addresses the brothers or brethren in the Bible, they say brothers and sisters, and they do that because they figure, well, contextually, we're referring to the whole body, not just males. But, my opinion is, I think anybody that becomes a student of the Bible is going to know that. So I feel like that's unnecessary. But it doesn't bother me because it is addressing the whole body. It's not gender inclusive in areas that make no sense. Like, for example, our Father isn't our parent in heaven, things like that. Instead of saying mankind, they say humankind, which I would have left that alone. I would have said mankind. All in all, as far as the typesetting on this Bible, the leather, the craftsmanship, A++. It's incredible. It's fantastic. And I pray they make it in the New King James, because I'm all in if they do. And I have to be honest, it was really hard to admit this to myself, but I even like this typesetting better than the quintet. However, I like my New King James translation much better. So, anyway, hope that was a blessing. Check out Tim Wildsmith's review. It's awesome. And God bless you, and happy Lord's Day.